This is being recorded?
Yeah. All right, everyone. We're about to get started with office hours. Today we have Mr. Tates.
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Raymond Tates from Southstar Capital, and he's going to be teaching you guys or have a fireside chat with y'all. All right. Go on.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. When I was speaking with Mr. Brooks earlier this week, he was asking us to come in to talk about the different kind of fundings that's available to you guys in the event that you're having trouble getting funded, getting started. A little bit about who we are. Southstar Capital. Southstar Capital has been around since 2009, and we're an alternate asset-based funding company. You know, we're non-traditional. Non-traditional. We do not do what the banks do. You know, credit check, bank statements. That's not our model. Our model is contract finance. Contract finance, meaning that all you have to do is have a contract of some sort, and we lend against that. Okay? Now, but before we get to that, that's base 2. If you think about baseball, you know, we hit the ball, you go to first base, second base, third base, and home. Let's start from the beginning of this whole issue. Number 1, let's talk about, and this is going to be real informal, I'm going to ask you all to participate on the reasons why we have alternate financing. The reason why we have it is because, you know, I would say 75% of the time, most traditional banks, your Wells Fargo's, your Chases, what have you, is going to deny you. When you walk in the door with Wells Fargo and say, hey, I got a contract with the government, I need some startup money, can you lend it to me? More than likely it's going to be a no, unless you really got a strong relationship with them, unless you have something else going on for you. But on those bases alone, no. So let's talk about, I'm not trying to throw Wells Fargo and Chase under the bus. Let's just talk about them for maybe the next 10, 15 minutes. We'll start with the 10 top reasons why banks say no. Okay? I'm going to ask Cynthia to read the first one.
Every lender has a checklist of documents which must be submitted as part of the loan application package. Each document has a specific purpose and plays a role in the lender's ability to properly underwrite the loan. Failure of a business owner to submit all of the required documents often suggests a lack of familiarity or capacity to produce them. In either case, it typically results in delays or decline due to missing gaps in the information required to evaluate the funding request.
Yes. That's the number 1 reason. An incomplete package, you know, and a lot of times we're just not geared up. We'll go in, we're excited about the contract, but the lack of information, the lack of what they properly need gives you a denial real quick. Young lady, what is your name?
Yelena.
Yelena? Pleasure to meet you. Can you read number 2 for us, please?
Financials reflect either a marginally profitable business or shows a loss. Most lenders typically look at the previous 2 to 3 years of financials along with year-to-date statements in an attempt to establish a historical baseline and project trends for future performance. Fundamental credit analysis suggests that in most cases, firms with poor historical performance may not be able to generate sufficient cash flow and profits to service a new loan.
You'd be surprised how often that comes up, and sometimes you don't realize it. We have to turn down, check this out. We turned down a company up in Boston that was doing $2.5 million in custom shelving. They do custom shelving.
Is that annually? Was that quarterly, monthly?
A year. Now, you would think he's got a contract with Walmart, he's got a contract, it fits our model.
Mm-hmm.
All right? his margins was very, I mean, I don't know how he can exist. I mean, he got he's making that money, but the monies that's going out and the monies that he's receiving, the margin was very low. We said, well, how, if we lent him some money, how are we expecting optimistically to get our monies back? So to spare you the long details, we turned him down, and the reason why was because his margins were so low. And we're talking about a company doing 2.5. So what would have to happen? It's not a no forever. He just needs to readjust the way that he's doing his business. Some things he has to maybe decrease or whatever to widen that spread, that margin. That's the second reason. When a banker, well, and we're not looking so much at that. We're saying this is Wells Fargo. No, we're talking about we're putting on our bank hat. Okay, they're a stickler about that. So we say the financials reflect either a marginally profit business or shows a loss. Okay. The third reason, Brother Taylor.
Insufficient history for bank to assess repayment ability. Banks like to see, in most cases, an absolute minimum of 1 full year or longer of profitable operations in business. This provides a track record from which the bank can make sound underwriting decisions. As a result, startups often have a more difficult time in securing bank financing.
This is the bank. They're looking at that. They're trying to see. They're trying to look and see exactly what's what is your history? What is your payment history like? All right, Brother Warren.
Mike. I'm Mike.
Mike. You said Mike.
Yeah.
Didn't you give me a card here?
Yeah. You gotta go under the logo. Warrell is the attorney. We can get that full play.
Saul. Brother Saul.
Insufficient collateral to cover the loan.
Yay. That should be number one.
That's right.
But tell us about that one. Why do they do it? Why do they?
In most cases, banks require dollar-for-dollar collateral coverage for a loan. Even with guaranteed loans, while some banks only require collateral on the non-guaranteed portion, others require collateral for the entire loan amount. In some cases, even loans that appear to be approvable are denied due to lack of sufficient collateral.
Hey, I just mentioned that one. And that goes along with the margins. We tried to work with this guy.
Right.
But if there's no collateral, because we collateralize, we're going to get into the good news after we get through with all this bad news right now. We're going to get into the good news as to how we operate.
So you're saying, the banks require a lot of collateral.
They do.
Dollar for dollar.
Dollar for dollar.
Dollar for dollar. And that's not to say that's not what we do, but we do it differently, and we'll get into that in a minute. You're up next, Miss Harper.
Did the young man read it?
He did. He just read it.
It's only four.
Okay.
It's on you.
Are you gonna do?
Insufficient collateral. Be quiet, you know mine.
Yeah, number five.
Credit score to the business and business owner.
Hey, credit score.
This thing right here, Joe.
No, it ain't.
Everybody has their own credit score criteria, which in addition to other loan requirements, must be met for the business to be approved. This credit information comes from a variety of credit bureaus and business reporting agencies. In many cases, the loan may be denied if the minimum credit requirements are not met.
Hey, we don't look at credit, and we're going to get into that. But that's a good measuring tool for the banks. You have a poor credit score, that means you're a poor performer, and you're a high risk based on your credit. So we'll come to that. Number 6.
Yelena.
Yelena, I'm gonna write that down.
Payment issues on existing financing. No lender likes to throw good money after bad. In addition, failure to remain in good standing on existing bank and trade credit obligations suggests, in many cases, their inability to service even more debt.
Payment issues on existing financing, that's right. We're up to number 7. Ms. Harper? No.
We're going in order, it's supposed to be.
Yeah. So,
Do not typically make loans on the basis of a contract. The fact is, a contract is just a piece of paper. In and of itself, it has no value. Value is accrued through performance. Banks typically examine the historical capacity of the business to repay the loan, whether it has a contract or not. Some banks do establish accounts, receivable lines of credit, particularly for government contracts. However, in most cases, they aren't designed to provide the upfront capital required to finance them.
Number 7 is the primary reason why we went into business. The primary reason why Southstar Capital opened their doors. Because we said yes to this.
You get a contract.
Oh, yeah.
So you be able to pay me back.
Oh, yeah. You know, you walk into Wells Fargo and say, I got a contract for $500,000. Hey, listen, I need some money. They'll laugh at you.
Yeah.
We'll say, hey, come on in. Let's talk. You know. Number 8, Brother Sauls.
Type of loan requested is not the best fit for meeting the financial requirements. Short and sweet. In most cases, banks typically won't make a long-term loan to meet short-term requirements for financing the contract. The SBA does have a variety of financing programs, some of which are designed specifically for contract financing. However, some banks tend to utilize these programs more than others.
And see, and their model and the way that they do, it has to fit, like you're saying, in the way that they see. And that's one of the things that makes us so unique, because we get creative. We say, what will work for you? They're not trying to ask you at the bank what will work for you. You got to fit into their model.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? If it don't fit, you got to quit.
I took him a $40,000 check. I took him a $40,000 check off of an invoice. And they made me hold that check in the bank almost 60 days. And it was from Cedar Equant, one of the top companies in this country.
Yeah.
And they were trying to make me hold. I went to the bank and I said, I need to talk to somebody in charge.
Yeah.
Because I need this money to do some operating from.
Yeah.
And they released me like $10,000.
Yeah.
And I thought, my goodness,
Yeah.
this is a check that you know the money's there.
That's right. That's right.
And maybe
But
they
it don't fit into that's not the way they think. They don't think
and that was
that way.
15, 17 years ago.
So we're up to number 9. You have the mic, Ms. Harper.
Business owner lacks sufficient knowledge of their own financial position.
Woo-wee.
Wow. In some cases, the business owner farms out the review of financials to either their office manager or outside accountant and only pays attention to them once a year at tax time. They don't understand how to effectively use this information to increase their profitability and cash flow. As a result, they are not able to either quantify financial trends and issues or develop solutions to solve them.
That's not exclusive to traditional banks. We want to see that you know what you're doing. Now, that number 9, we're going to ask you, we have what is called a deal review, and we're going to get into it, but I'll give you a little preview. A deal review is when I bring a deal in, because there's 7 of us in the country, and I'm one of 7. And if I find a client that has a contract that I've qualified based on the way that I do, and they seem to be a good model for what we do, then I write it up. And then I send you an application and everything will. Next thing, every Monday, we have all of us on a conference call with the owner of the company in Charleston. It's called the deal review. I've got to present you on the phone. Okay, Ray, what you got? Okay, I've got Mr. Taylor. He's got a janitorial company. It's called TaylorMade, and blase, 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 and blase, 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 blase. Now, I've got to feel it. I've got to feel it myself. Now, after we do that, and they say, yay, this is what I'm getting to, the next thing they say, well, okay, that sounds good. Let's get Mr. Taylor. Now, after the whole conversation is over, I'll make an appointment with Mr. Taylor. He's on the phone. And you got to sell yourself. If you can't sell it after I done made this wonderful presentation about who you are and how great you are, and you can leap tall buildings in a single bound, and you faster than a speeding, and you're a bad dude, and then you get on the phone, well, I don't really know that much about, my secretary does all of those. Shot, you know what I'm saying? I mean, really. So you got to know your business well. And I mean, that's what they do at the bank, but we want to hear you sound as good about your business as I'm making you sound, because I'm setting you up. Yes, ma'am.
And I do understand that, but if I'm not good at accounting and I hire Mike's accounting firm to take care of my accounting processes and procedures, what would be wrong with that? If I need an attorney, I wouldn't hire this janitorial service.
Yeah, but you can't be in the dark about what your attorney is doing. You cannot be in the dark about what your accountant is doing. You should know. You hired that accountant, right? So you can't say, well, go ask Jim. He's my accountant. No, I'm asking you. I'm asking you. You should know your business. You might have a glimpse. You might have a basic understanding. But if you say to me, well, Mr. Tate, if you just really need to know the details of it, my accountant can give you that. But for most part, you should have excuse me. Let me just turn this off. You should have a general idea of how your business is running. Okay.
Even with government contracts?
Oh yeah. They know what. Hey, you need to know what you're doing.
CEO is always the unofficial CFO. I don't care who you appoint.
I get that.
You're the unofficial
But the
CFO.
thing about government contracts, the value of them is that you're a team. So I get with a good accounting firm, I get with a good 8A firm, I'm going to get with a good women-owned firm, a good veteran firm, and the accounting is not what I do, the business development is what I do. Now I own the company, but I've got my team in place that would handle those processes and procedures.
That's right. I understand.
So for me,
You'd have to rearrange that.
wow.
Because you can't just be the CEO of the company and you in the dark.
But you're the unofficial CFO.
I mean, you can't just say, hey, go talk to my accountant. No,
But when the accountant gives you a terminology and you don't get it, you pay him to break that down. Break that down to my language and my terms. You don't let the accountant just tell you all these high terms and run it from there. I talk to you. So you say break that down to my terms so you can articulate it.
Okay.
Yeah, you understand?
I mean, I understand that.
We want you to be on top of your game. On you Hopper Associates. You Hopper Enterprises.
Mm-hmm.
And if you Hopper Enterprises and we call Miss Hopper, and you say, well, let's go talk to her. Yeah. So that,
Who's going to sign for it? The accountant. I like to be accountable for responsible. And I'm not an accountant. I don't like that, don't do it. But I need to know my numbers. And if I bring you on board, have a different language, because I don't get the big term in accounting, but have a language you can speak to me where I understand. And I can articulate it to somebody else.
so Miss Elena.
You didn't want to other young ladies to join in? I'm messing with her. Oh,
No, I think
doing my wife.
No, she deserves, she came in late, so she needs to probably be one. So we're on number 10. So you're gonna have to tell us number 10. Why do most banks? What are the 10 top reasons?
Okay, now, I'm looking at this.
So number 10.
We're number 10, saying the second page.
Financial ratios are not in line with industry standards.
Read the whole thing.
Oh, okay,
You're teaching us.
okay. An analysis of key financial performance ratios based on the industry and size range of the business indicates that their performance is out of line with industry standards.
Yes.
These ratios provide insight into the cash flow, the profitability, the debt coverage, and net worth of the business.
Mm-hmm.
Banks rely on an assessment of these key indicators to help paint a picture of the viability of the business and the loan.
Very good. And that's very formal. That's exactly what Chase would do. They're going to look just like that. They want to see just how well you got yourself positioned, how well you're in order. That's what they're looking for.
It's like an economic class the profit ratios at this ratio.
That's right, that's right. They're gonna look at all that.
Yeah.
So now, the second section of this, and I'm gonna give you all a brief introduction before we get to part 3. I had to really organize because this is a long presentation, and there's some parts that I took out so that it can fit within an hour. And if we have a client, if there's a client out there, or a customer out there, or not a customer, but a client out there that don't meet these guidelines at the bank, then where do you go? A lot of times they give up. They say, hey, look, I'm working with a guy right now. He wants to give up because he didn't know anything about us until last week. But he wanted to give up because he went to the bank and the bank said no, blah, 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 blah. So here we are. The title of us, we are an asset-based lender. Now, some of the things I'm about to say, I already said it already, so excuse me. I just want to make sure I drill it in. We're an asset-based lender, meaning what? We lend based on
your assets.
That's it. That's all it is. We ain't talking about your credit. Do you have a 700 credit score? Assets. What is an asset?
Something that has value.
What in this particular
Property.
Business.
what would be considered an asset
Your home.
in our space?
Contract.
Okay. And what else? That's good. And what else? What else would be considered an asset? I want you to be thinking now.
Yeah, collateral.
What else? Yes, collateral. Collateral. That's number 2.
Your business.
Yeah. There's one big one that when y'all do work and y'all send a piece of paper which is called something to get paid, what is that called?
Invoice.
That's the biggest collateral you could have. Because you've done the work. And now you invoice the customer. Now you're waiting to get paid. 45 days. You can't wait 45 days. You got to do payroll on Friday. Here we come, Southstar Capital. Hey. We'll give you the money in 2 days. 90%. So you got $100,000 worth of invoices out there. We're going to give you $90,000 by Friday. And we'll charge you 1.5%.
It's cheaper than factory.
Hey. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm here.
Man, that's what you're successful with trying to do. Right.
Now, that's every 15 days.
That's the sweet spot.
Every 15 days, we charge you 1.5%. So you figure on a monthly basis, 3%. As long as our money is out there, we're going to charge you 1.5% every 15 days.
Like that. You gave out your business, you gave out your contract.
Yes, Mr. Sawyer, I got more cards than everybody. That's right. So when I run out of cards, I'm going to go see you. That's my homeboy right here.
So what happens if, and I guess this rarely happens, that contracts or that you lose a contract in the middle of a 90-day or 120-day, something happens and the contract closes out and you don't.
We're up the creek.
Okay.
We're just up the creek.
That's the risk.
We're up the creek with no paddle. So we just have to send Guido out to see you.
With your legs, man. With the Sopranos.
Guido comes knocking at your door at 2 in the morning. No, I'm only kidding, but we're going to make sure that does not happen. Because one of the things that we do, we're going to start talking about that right now, is that before we put anybody's out, we're going to do our due diligence. And that's a very good question, because what we're going to be looking at, number 1, is the credit worthiness of the customer. Not the client.
That's great.
So if you have a contract, Mr. Taylor, with the CDC,
right,
clean the whole building.
Right.
We're doing the credit on the CDC.
Make sure they pay up, right?
They make sure how well they pay. That's how we guard ourselves. We're not going to look at your credit.
Mm-hmm.
So we got ways to look. We go in and we got our,
I'm in business.
yeah. We say, oh, CDC, oh shoot, hey, $1 billion company, sure, yeah, we can. You got a contract with them? Yeah, sure. That's right. Okay. So now let's get into it. Here we come. Here we come. We call it contract finance. Contract finance has different interpretations, different, and we call it contract finance because we're separate apart from a factoring company. There are tons of companies out there that do factoring only. We're not that. We don't do factoring only. We do contract finance. And why we saying that is because with factoring companies, all they do is A&R, meaning accounts receivable. That means they factor this on the account. When we say contract finance, we got 4 levels. We got mobilization funding, number 1. We have A&R, which is factoring. We've got PO, which is purchase order. And then we have equipment leasing. We'll buy the equipment and lease it back to you based on the fact that you have a what? A contract. That's right. That's right. So when you all think like the way that we think, you'll make my job easier. So when here's contract finance, number 1. So we go to the next page. We talk about 18, 19. What is contract finance? Contract finance, financing alternatives designed to assist the borrower in fulfilling their contracts and purchase orders obligations. That's essentially what it is. You have a contract, you come to us, you say, hey, look, Mr. Tate, we got a $350,000 contract, we need some money to get started, and we need about $100,000. Okay, we're going to take a look at the entire picture. We don't know anything about you. We don't know about your credit. We don't know nothing. We don't care. We don't care. So financing alternatives, meaning that we're going to get real creative with you. One deal I was working on last week, the guy has a contract with Google. His contract is to install fiber optic, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you'd be surprised in this position that I'm in. I learn a lot about other different businesses. Believe me, I'm not that smart. But I'm just telling you, by talking to you all, I learn a lot. I get real smart, real quick. I said, what do you do? Well, I make shelves. Okay, you make shelves. What kind of shelves do you make? That's another guy. And he told me about that. But this guy, Google, Eric. Well, what I do is I got a contract with Google and they want me to install fiber optic on the poles in Atlanta so they can connect with them.
Wow.
I'm thinking, I said, wow, that's deep. So in order for Google to be able to provide their service, they got to have this little unit that has to be installed on these poles. And there's about 500,000 poles in the state of Georgia, right? So Google says to Eric, hey, I'm going to give you $100 for every pole that you go up and install one of those things on. $100, right? Eric, I'm using Eric, it's not his name. Eric don't have a bucket truck, to get up there. He got the contract. So he comes to me, right? Okay, Eric. Okay, how we gonna work this out, man? You ain't got no bucket truck, man. You need a bucket truck. Okay, you got any collateral? Yeah, I got a couple of cars. I got a couple of watches. I got some equity in my house. We're talking about a bucket truck that costs $30,000, $40,000. So what we did was to get creative, which the bank won't do. They ain't gonna sit down and say, well, how else can we work this out? Tell you what we'll do, Eric. Do they rent those trucks? Yeah, they rent them. Okay, I tell you what. Get me an invoice on how much it costs to rent a bucket truck.
No ways. That's alternative right there.
That's,
It's alternative right there.
you want to teach, you might want to teach this class. You're doing good. That's exactly right. That is alternative. Banks ain't gonna do that.
They ain't gonna find another way.
They ain't gonna find another way. So he went and got $2,900 it costs to rent this bucket truck in a month.
$2,900 a month?
A month. $2,900 a month.
Wow,
That's right.
that's expensive.
Yes, yeah, well, it's a bucket truck. Ain't no, just no Ford 150. This is a bucket truck. It goes up. So in addition to that, he needed to have insurance on the truck.
Oh, now I was gonna go.
Yeah. But here's the thing. He got a contract. We're gonna fund all that.
So how much would he make in a month to offset all those
Yeah,
expenses?
that's what I'm thinking.
Right.
I'm on that.
And that's what we would want to know.
Right.
So he's saying that we can do 15 poles in a day if he had the bucket truck.
That's
You know, he's done
That's $1,500, oh yeah.
a day.
So in 3 days, he can make all his money.
So we're looking at all that.
Right.
We say, okay, how many can you do in a day, man? Yo, man, sure. I have a truck now. I do 15 of these a day. Okay, all right. 15 times 5.
65, right? 75.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this
So
an
that-
ongoing contract?
Yeah. So once he gets through with this 250, because he's got a contract, this is 250. After he gets through with that, then he can go back and say, hey, look, we done. Can we get some more?
Right.
You know, and then, because there's a whole, you can't, I mean, we're talking about
I'm trying
almost,
to get the full outreach.
we're talking about the whole, you know, and I said 500,000, I think it's more than 500, I think, no, that's right, 500,000 of these poles, that's what it is, in the state of Georgia,
Right.
yeah. And so he's got 250, so there's a whole lot left. So he can make some money, so we saw that. We said, if we put this guy in business, he's gonna be very loyal to us.
Right.
And he's gonna be real, so we did the deal.
Just out of curiosity, was this a government contract? I don't remember you saying.
Say it again.
Was this a government contract?
No, Google.
Google's
It's a private company. Yeah, we do it all.
So you do corporate, my point is, so you also do corporate, you do corporate lending, right? You do lending for contracts
Really, your business.
that are based on corporations, like corporations or.
Okay, I wanna make sure we say that right, yeah.
Okay, so like if I was awarded a contract.
From who, for an example?
Like a Google, for
Oh,
example.
yeah.
So, okay, so
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
just,
No, it's not just for
Not
government contracts, no, I see what you're saying, no, it's not just for, yeah, any contract, you could have a contract with the city,
mhm.
you can have a contract with the state,
Coca-Cola.
you can have a contract with CDC.
Private.
I'm doing one now for CDC. This guy, I'm doing a contract with the CDC. He supplies syringes. He's, rubber glove, surgical gloves, all that stuff. Excuse me. And, I mean, that's his business. He's a medical supplies. That's all he does. Got a contract. CDC calls him. Hey, look, we need, $2,000 in this boom. He's got to go get it and then fulfill that. Sometimes he don't have the money in his account to be able to go buy these gloves from China or wherever. So we go ahead on and send the money to China so he can get the supplies in so he can go ahead and deliver it to CDC.
Nice.
That's how we get it. Banks ain't gonna do that. They don't.
And so you were gonna talk about the insurance, that's including bonding, or you'll pay for the bonding cost? Like if I needed to go get a bond for like $500,000, you would help with that process as well?
Maybe.
Maybe? You mentioned insurance a few minutes ago,
I did.
that's all I was asking.
I
I
did.
know you hadn't gotten to that yet.
Yeah, but and that's a good question. It depends on the nature of the contract because we want you to bring something. We're not gonna fund the whole deal. You got to bring something. So like we might say to you, Miss Yolanda.
Ms. Thompson's fine. It's okay. I don't have a hang up about my name. I'm like that, it doesn't matter.
Yelena,
Yes.
I got it.
That's perfect. It's kind of unusual.
As we want you to bring something to the table. Can't just come empty-handed. I ain't got nothing. You know, so we say to you, tell you what, go ahead and get your bond. Go ahead and get something. You come back and say, okay, I got the bond. So, answer your question is yes. All right, so let's go to next page 20. These are all descriptions of contract finance. It's a highly specialized form of financing that utilizes future contract proceeds as the basis of the finances today, and financing today. You know, when we look at a deal, we want to see the longevity of it. You know, when I talked about the Google contract, for example, we see that once he gets through with his 200, we know that, hey, man, this guy, he's on the road. He can go back. So we want to see longevity, future contract proceeds. We want to see how well he can, you know, it's not just one-time shot only.
Right. And do the percentages change on the other side, or is that across?
No, man. You mean our money?
Yeah.
No, we stay right there.
Okay.
And on the money piece, I'm glad you brought that up. We start at that number, 1.5%, because, you know, every time, you know, I talk to somebody about, you know, how much is your money? Y'all ask me, how much is your money? You know, it varies.
Right.
But for us to be on the safe side, I know we can't go wrong if we say 1.5, right?
Right.
But there are times where you might have a major contract and you say, oh, my, great, got money, 1.5, can we do better than that? Well, it depends. It depends on how much we got to do, how much work we got to put in, how much we have to, you know, what are you bringing to the table? You know, if we have to take all the risks, we're going to charge you 1.75.
Right. I got it.
You know what I'm saying? But we come right in there in the middle, not knowing who you are, and just for the first time I'm talking to you for the first day, you're going to say, well, Mr. Turner, how much is your money? Oh, 1.5.
Right.
And we get into it down the road, then we'll get into it. We might say, okay, this 1 point, this week is 1% every 15 days. So,
Pretty cool.
yeah, we cool again.
Plus, it keeps you on your game. It keeps you on your game for those 15 days.
Oh, yeah.
And you
Oh,
want to make progress and make things happen.
Now, another thing is on page 21, if the contract is an asset, then the invoices is the collateral, which serves as the basis for cash advances and other forms of financing. That's why we call that whole subject contract finance. There's no one else that does what we do, by the way. We're it.
That's good.
You know, we are the only one in the whole country because there are even companies out there that do factoring, and that's all they do. And then they got companies out there that do private lending, and that's all they do. But we mix the two together. That's what makes us unique. No one else. Look us up. There ain't nobody else doing what we do. And that's why we can sit down and custom tailor. Custom tailor. That's his name.
That's awesome.
Custom tailor a financing program.
Y'all trading on the stock exchange?
Yeah. Are we?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
Southstar.
Oh, yeah. No.
Y'all private. Yeah.
You're trying to get some stock.
I'm gonna work with it. I'm gonna go ahead
Buy you some.
I'll probably go back at those stocks, right? Right. Make sure AT&T's I carry, I got AT&T stock.
22, contract financing is also contract proceeds from the invoice payments are assigned and forwarded to the lender, which is us, which provides assurance of payment and security for the loan. Now, how that works? Okay. Traditionally, the banks would say, okay, we trust you. You know, Wells Fargo change. We trust you. We're gonna promise to pay us back. Yeah, we're gonna promise to pay it. We ain't asking you to. Hey, that's how they do it. The way what we're saying is that because we ain't no fools. We get ready to dump $150,000 into your account, and we don't know you from a can of paint. So we saying, okay, now how are we gonna get our monies back? How are we gonna make sure that we get Mr. Sauls? We don't, Mr. No, I don't know Mr. Sauls, but he needs us. Well, okay, how are we gonna get the monies back from Mr. Sauls? All right, how are we gonna do it? He got a contract. We're saying with your customer, whoever that customer is that you got a contract with, all those invoices that you're invoicing, we're going to have to say to them, instead of sending the monies to Mr. Saul, you need to send your monies to us. Because we already gave you $150,000 up front.
That's right.
Up front. So you already walked. You gone.
So the government does that? The government will play in that?
Sometimes. I mean, most of the times they do. Most of, and I'm giving it to you real basic.
Right.
But the way that we explain it in another way is not that basic, but that's what it does.
Right.
So, that's called subordination. That's all that is. We subordinate, in other words, what we're saying to the government. And 9 times out of 10, because the way that we put a twist to it is that we show the government that we're the funding arm of Mr. Saul's company.
Got it.
Of Ms. Thompson's company. We're her funding. We're her bank. We're lending them monies to do the job for you,
Right.
Mr. Government. And they like that, because the worst thing that they don't want to see is a company that they just gave a contract to that cannot perform because they don't have the money. They ain't got no backing. We're Southstar Capital. We're going to be backing Mr. Taylor. Whatever amount of money he needs, we got it.
Send them invoices.
Yeah.
Send that check here.
So Mr. Government looks at that deal and say, well, that's not a bad idea, because we know now that we're gonna get the work done, and there's no problem, because the last thing that they want to hear is that you call them up and say, hey, we ain't got no bucket truck.
Right.
Or we ain't got no this, or we ain't got no employees, and we can't perform the contract, or whatever. They don't want to hear no sad stories, right? But we're saying to them, that ain't gonna be no problem.
That's right.
We got his employees, we got his supplies, we got his trucks, we got whatever he needs, Mr. Government, Mr. CDC, Mr. Google, we got him. And they say, so when we put that twist to it like that,
That makes sense.
yeah, they like it.
Right.
Why would they say no? They say, well, okay, the only switch out is that you just want us to send you the check? Yeah, that's right. We want you to send us the check. Yeah.
Plus, y'all look good in my presentation.
Yeah.
Y'all look good in my presentation to the contract.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We do.
That's the other side of that.
And we don't make that presentation. We don't make that call. We got people in the home office in Charleston
Right.
that actually make, like Vicky. She's the one, or April. When it gets to that level,
Yeah.
of after we done,
My name dropped. Yeah, in a minute.
after we done did everything, and everything, now it's time to make that connection as to how the money gonna flow. Vicky and April, they call the government. Hi, this is Vicky with Southstar Capital.
This is Becky.
Yeah, this side. This one is President
With the good hat.
You can talk to the contracting officer on our side.
Yeah.
And already let them know. My financing people, April go.
That's right. And they're good at presenting like that. And when they present it, and when she gets off the phone, they say, oh, okay, that's fine. Yes, well, okay. So you want us to send you the check? Yes, we do.
Man, so that means I can cut my millionaire plan in half. I can do this in half the time.
That's right. Another definition of contract finance: advances are deducted from the invoice. Now, this is another thing. Now, this is what you say how we get paid. This is it. Advances are deducted from the invoice payments, and the balance less the fees, are forwarded to the borrower, making it self-liquidating asset-based lending, based loans. When we get the check in, we're going to take out our portion plus our fees.
CUS.
And we send you the rest. Did y'all see that?
Easy money, right? It's easy transactions.
Yeah,
It's easy transactions. They're making it too easy, right?
Yeah.
Making it simple.
Right?
We say we're the catch, huh?
Yeah, way to catch it, all right? It's too easy, Mr. Tate. It's too easy, Mr. Tate.
Right, that's
Right?
catch.
It's a catch.
And there ain't none.
Yeah, that's just 1.5%, that's it.
That's dang. Just give us our 1.5, please.
Or whatever it
That's
is.
it, whatever it is.
1.5 or whatever the terms
Whatever the
are.
terms
Whatever the terms are.
Weekly, monthly, or just whatever the terms are.
Every 15 days.
Every 15, is that what it's
That's
done?
right. That's right.
Every 2 weeks.
And we keep it real simple because we don't want to have
That
to.
is-
You don't have to go back to school for no math classes
That's
to
right.
figure out how much you owe us. We
Every
say, hey,
time.
1.5%. That's all it is, and we keep it real. Like I said, we keep it real simple for you all to figure it out. That's it. Once we take out our portion and take our fees out, and I mean, believe me, we make pretty good. We do pretty good. We do pretty good.
And you're able to help a lot
Well,
of
you
small
talking about based on
businesses.
these government contracts, yeah, y'all just taking out the whole worrisome about.
Give you an example, man. Check this out. I want to show you how good we are. Like I was saying earlier, you learn a lot, right? So got another guy out of Arkansas, all right? A brother out of Arkansas got a contract with the military. Now, who in the world would think about this? I didn't even think about this. You would have to think, okay, where does the Army and the Navy and the Marines get their bullets from? They don't make bullets. They got to buy it from somewhere. Brother Frank down in Arkansas got a contract with the military that sells ammunition to the military. I said, you go on, my brother. That's good,
Smart.
man. Huh?
That's smart.
Yeah, you got a contract. So the military buys their ammunition from them. So that being said, I don't know, you heard me mention the $7 million. It was a major contract. I guess they're getting ready for the war thing and North Korea and all that stuff. So they getting ready to get booted up. So they need to fill up their arsenal and all that. So he just got an order in for $7 million. $7 million.
Wow.
He ain't got no $7 million on his checking account.
Wow.
So here we come. We sat down with him for a long time. We saw the contract. The contract read U.S. military, we read everything on the back. We read everything on the bottom. So I said, you got this contract? Yeah, I got this contract. $7 million? Okay. So we get it. Germany, Russia, China, all these bullets. We don't manufacture all these, but these bullets, they got certain bullets, man, they come from Germany. Yeah, So he don't have it. So we had to deposit $7 million.
In his account.
No, not in his account. We sent it off.
Oh.
Because all we had to do was to send it with several different places,
The supplies.
the suppliers,
Right.
suppliers, and we did that. He got his inventory because he got a big old warehouse down in Arkansas. Guarded and everything and the whole bit. This man, this guy, he's got it going on. So he got his shipment in, ready to deliver to the military. And now, can you just think 1.5?
He'll do that. He'll do that
That's so much money.
multiple times because you're not even talking about just geared up for the war. He's talking about training for the war.
Yeah, what's the
So
start?
we run through, when I was in, we ran through all kind of, and once you get your lot of bullets, you don't turn nothing back in, you gotta burn them, you gotta use them. So everybody go 3-4 times,
Right.
and then shoot again, or you come back next week to shoot again.
Right.
Because you gotta shoot all the bullets, all they want is spent casings.
Yeah,
So that's within the within the government, where the military does that.
right.
So that means they're ordering more.
That's right.
So right. So he's not even talking about geared up for war, he's talking about even just for training for war.
That's right. And that's the third one on our list. PO funding. Purchase order funding. That's a huge one. The guy that I talked to you all about, the medical supply guy.
Yeah.
Like the gloves and he needs money to get his supplies in so he can deliver it to CDC. So anyway, moving right along, number 24, page 24.
We had a guy, that was here, they had 8A that was selling guns.
Oh.
$375 million to close out his 8A.
Wow.
Lee White, bad dude out DC.
And now the weapon just changed to the sour. They get ready to get this
Lee
changed
White
well.
told him,
Military.
I don't want no part of that contract. That's not God's way. He said, okay, don't worry about it. Take the kids out of private school, get out of the pension, get rid of the cars. You don't want no parts of it, then that's what you'll do. $375 million.
With the different kind of contracts that we look at, you'll see this first one is service contract, the next one is supply contract, the next one is construction, and the last one is manufacturing. There's only 4 different kinds of contracts. The kind of funding that we supply on the first one, which is service contracts, it's hard to read this, is designed to assist in covering specific line items, startup costs, included in the contract, in which whether it's negotiated and approved by the customer. We talked about that mobilization funding. You all have some already here at GCA. We don't know what the maximum dollar amount is. We talked about that, but in the event that you all need more than what they supply here at GCA, then we take over, because I just told you we just did $7 million. So, we're kind of unlimited when it comes to the kind of money. So mobilization funding is a good one. That's the main, that's our bread and butter. Because that's where most of you guys fit in.
Right.
You all coming here to GCA to learn how to get contracts, right?
Right.
And that's what you're spending most of your time on. You coming in here studying and learning and getting certified and get you done and get this and get that and boom, boom, boom. Now you got your wings and you're ready to go, and you're going out there and you say, okay, and GCA, they say, okay, we're going to help you. We're going to show you exactly how to get it and blah, blah. So you go out there and you're running and you get it. Boom. Got the contract. Got the contract. Yeah, you got the contract. Got the contract. Okay, all right.
Now what?
Now what? Now what? Well, I need some money to get it started. You gotta, how much you need? Well, I need 100,000. You got 100,000? So that's how we fit in.
Right.
That's how we fit in. So,
If you got it, it's supposed to go to you anyway.
That's right. That's right. That's why we linked up with partners with GCA. We in at the hip with GCA. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
That's right. That's right. Ain't nobody else.
Oh my God, y'all my guys, man. I got you.
I mean, this is really good to share with people. And this is why we need to know what each other do, because there's a lady working on a contract recently who called me. She worked with a guy at the CDC, and she does accounting. And she didn't call me. Somebody else called me and said, I got a guy who got a contract with the CDC who does, I need an accountant. I met a lady at GCA. I called her up. She met with the guy. She's going to get the contract.
Right.
Now, I'm going to get a little piece of that.
Sure.
And getting all the way. I'm not doing it without,
That's right.
But that's why we need to know who each other, because you have to trust the people you work with.
That's right.
So I got to be able to trust you to refer you to somebody.
That's right.
Know that you're ethical. Because we want to eventually get these $7 and $20 million contracts.
Right.
Scheduled payroll funding. You got a contract. You got several employees. You got 10 employees. All right, and y'all coming out the chute, and y'all did the work and everything. And now, y'all got to meet payroll on Friday. We've talked about this. We talked about this earlier. You ain't got no money yet. But your employees, they're looking at you for their check on Friday.
The circle is about to quit on Trump if they don't get their overtime. They got to realize
So, Mr. CEO of the company, back to what you were saying, Ms. Hopper, knowing your business, right?
Yeah.
You can't send us to your accountant. So they come into you. They say, hey, listen, we're going to get paid on Friday.
Right.
So if you're sitting back there in the office sweating, because you got the money, here we come.
work stoppage.
We come and say, okay, well, how much is your invoice that you got? I think well, I got about $100,000. Okay, we'll drop 90 in it tomorrow so you can make payroll on Friday. How about that? Yeah, okay, that sounds good. And that one is the easiest one of them all.
Right.
That funding for us is the easiest one.
Because is that straight up factoring right there?
That's straight up factoring. That's straight up factoring. That's the easiest one because we ain't got to do nothing. All you got to do is show us that you got the invoices out there.
People coming. Yeah.
That's it.
You just need the money soon.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That one there, boy. That's and that's why you have so many factoring companies out here.
Right.
You know, that's our number two. That's their number one and only. Those other companies, right? So, accounts receivable financing is pretty much the same thing, designed to provide working capital through cash advances against the invoices approved for payment. We talked about that, not to be the dead horse. The next type of funding is supply contracts, payment assurance letters. This is designed to provide payment guarantees to the vendor for goods ordered to fulfill specific purchase orders requirements, subject to deliver and acceptance by the customer. You know, there's times that your customer would like to, it's called a letter of intent.
Right.
You know, we'll supply you with that. No, letter of intent. That's another thing, another name for that. Then on the supplies again, the next one down is purchase order funding, and we talked about that.
Right.
Revolving vendor trade credit facilities. It is designed to provide continuing payment guarantees and financing arrangement for recurring purchases from the same vendor to fulfill specific requirements on one or more purchase orders. You know, I think somebody mentioned it earlier. You did. You mentioned it earlier, like on the bullets. You know, that's
Recurring, yeah.
It's recurring. So that's a supply contracts. Construction contracts, we kind of stay away from that a little bit. You know, construction is a little iffy. Long thing, whatever can go wrong. I mean, we do them, but we don't go after that business as much. But we're very careful about construction. You know, as I stated, whatever can go wrong will go. It rained. You know, they put in the wrong pipes.
Right.
You know, the electrician forgot to put the cap on and it didn't work.
Or like in case of this natural disaster right now.
Yeah. See, construction, that's iffy. So when that happens, or anything that can go wrong, does go wrong, that stops the money flow.
Right.
So now we out there again, back with up the creek without a paddle.
Right.
So we try to say,
They'll check them pretty close.
yeah, construction, yeah. Like the deal with when the bridge collapsed on 85,
Yeah.
that's construction, right?
Yeah.
Now, would we have done that if the guy, whoever the GC is, whoever the general contractor was for that bridge deal, came to us and said we need more than likely yes.
Yeah.
Because we know that bridge has got to be built. I mean, you got to fix that
Big
bridge.
plan. Yeah, the money's coming. DOT, everybody will come.
DOT. That's DOT, that's right. So we're going to be looking at DOT. We're not looking at the GC.
Right.
Right? And so, so, but anyway, you can read through that. And manufacturing, and we're close to the end. Manufacturing, work in process, financing, subcontracting, accounts receivables. Again, all of these, as you notice, they all have accounts receivables. That's where we make our monies. So I'm going to pause for right now and entertain any questions that you all might have. And I appreciate y'all listening to all of that. That's a good start. There's more to this training, but we have to keep it to an hour. Did I go over an hour?
Almost about. You're about 1 minute,
Oh, that's good.
That's
You
good.
started
Start.
to 6:15.
6:20.
It depends on each other, yeah.
You did good.
I did good, okay.
So now,
Yes.
would you suggest to us, like right now, Lord knows I hate to say this because I'm from Corpus Christi, I'm from the Houston area. But there's going to be a lot of money to be made through FEMA and all these
You
agencies.
from there?
Yeah, my family all lives in Houston. Corpus Christi.
Got my money. What are they doing? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, they all went away. They got up in hotels 2 or 3 hours away. They got a lot of flooding, a lot of damage on the roof, but that's what insurance is for. I keep telling them, I don't know why y'all tripping. There's insurance, you're going to be fine. No one got hurt. I had a cousin that was on the roof for 4 hours in Houston the other night
Wow.
with her grandbaby.
Wow.
Because the water was up here, and she said she was just afraid her grandson would drown.
Gosh.
So it's just that kind of
Well, I
thing.
mean, stay and not leave, didn't evacuate?
The ones in Houston didn't evacuate because the mayor told them
Not to.
not to evacuate because they thought the damage was being Corpus Christi, where my other brothers and them live. So,
Was that story on the news?
yeah,
Yeah, something about that story.
yeah, she was on the roof. So check this out. So they didn't leave. So hardly none of Houston evacuated.
Right.
And now they're flooded out.
Well.
So there's certain areas of it. But
But then
was trying to justify.
Military, my friends who are
And
military,
they know.
so I'm out of here, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They know.
God is in charge of this, not that man.
That man.
The
He's
man,
already signed
this
after
is
that.
God.
Well, he's not taking credit for that. He's saying, hey,
Well, they just want to play that, that's going to be in the news.
Well, it's unfair to the mayor
It's a lot of money not to be made, that's part of it, but there's a lot of money
to be made.
to be stolen too.
Oh, yeah.
Because once they fund it like that,
But I'm just saying,
everybody grabs
as a
it.
funder, would you suggest, well, I know for a fact,
It's a trickle down effect.
it's time to look at FEMA and all those government agencies, Texas, Louisiana, and all those coastal cities and all that area around there. They're going to need a lot of help in the next 3 months.
Yeah,
Somebody could get rich.
yeah.
Well, they will. The players are already doing that.
They're already
When
doing
you
it.
get a catastrophe like that, we're not even in that circle. Now, we might get the sub,
We might get the sub- and for us- Right, a couple $1 million. No, sir, they don't want it. Nobody else wants it.
The tough stuff down
Those
there.
big boys, the good old boys, they already, yeah.
So let's go with one family. Push it.
They're going to get there.
Let's
Absolutely.
say space. You don't come in that zone, let's say space.
Mr. Halliburton and all that crew.
oh, yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Kane and all
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
they're gonna get all theirs,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But they are gonna bring on some partners, trust
Oh,
me.
yeah, it would be, like I said, it's sub.
And that's good, because we made $5 million
You
and they
gotta
made
know where to get
500.
in.
Well, what?
You gotta know where to get in at. And then who's local, because it's territorial.
It is
When
territorial.
you play that, when you're coming out to try to get some of that.
So your question is,
So, do you think that would be wise for us as vendors to start coordinating in that area?
I sure would, yeah. Sir? Because that's a must. That's not, can't,
Get in
possible.
line, get the tickets.
It's a must.
They gotta be
Like you
there
said,
for the next
it's a
5
sweet
to 10
spot.
years.
And my sweet spot is moving away from that.
Okay.
Y'all go to that, and just give me GSA. Let me find the guy who needs the bullets. I want that kind of idea to come up with, who supplies bullets, who needs boots in the military. That's my space that I'm working in.
Yeah,
So, and I don't need the big millions that I can't handle.
yeah,
When I come to you all, y'all gonna be able to handle that.
yeah, right.
We're gonna shake hands and get your one, but I want the revolving, but they want with the revolving one. That's the deal that I want.
That's
I
what we want.
There you go. That's right.
That's what we
Shake
want.
hands. I want to invite y'all for Christmas
Sure.
and have drinks and cook
Sure.
out. Y'all the best folks we got.
We're part of the family.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that money's there.
Oh, you the title of cousin.
Cousin Ray.
Cousin Ray. Cousin Ray.
Everybody say, wait, who we related?
Don't worry about it.
Ray in the family.
His wife said he was doing $1 million a month
Yeah.
with guns.
Yeah.
He's
And you
never
can do it. I mean, it's not what you know.
military.
That's why NRA is so big on doing the way they do business, because that promotes that. That gun business is never going out of style.
No, not at all.
And not even today. Today, I mean, Obama was cutting back, but now the push is to increase more. So that spending is going to be out of the chart.
Mhm.
So GSA, if you want to get into the game,
Mhm. That's right.
have your GSA qualifications and stuff ready, because even if you buy a shoestring, you know, I mean, you can get into the game for that, and just the shoestring, you can do something that's going to make you comfortable.
But I'm just hard to get into GSA though, isn't it?
It's not.
It's work, it's just a little
It's
work.
work.
It's work. It's a little work. That work.
And if it was easy, everybody would be
Everybody be
doing it.
doing it.
But,
Right.
but here's the
But you can
problem
get
that we have. is that we will always run into this thing by ourselves. We don't partner, we don't get together,
No.
we don't socialize, we're going to church together,
Yeah.
but we don't get back and say, you know what, you got A, you got B, I got C.
Let's put it
Let's do a joint venture.
No.
We got the funding, and let's do this.
That was the
Not
conversation
over
we
the
had
money that
today
plays out.
in that
That's
meeting.
our problem, because everybody else is partnering.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they may hate each other, but they're partnering on business.
Oh, yeah.
And then they go back to their corners and do what they do.
Right.
So
They know how to do that. We
know.
don't know how to
That's
do
right.
that.
Because we don't trust one another. We
And
take
SBA, what's her name, Charlotte Johnson of SBA? She always go offline when she teaches that class about going into WSB and small businesses. No, that's what she always say. Let me go offline and say this. I haven't been fired yet, but I need to say this. And she go ahead and let that class know.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
She tells women that same.
Any other questions? I'm going to close those out, and then you guys
Yeah,
can.
quick question.
Yeah.
What is the typical time frame for funding? Did you mention that yet? I know it needs to be pretty quick if you're working with payroll. The time frame for fund, like from application to actual.
Oh, from application to close. It varies because it depends on how quickly, I'm gonna give you an answer after I tell you this. It depends on how quickly you can get us what we need. You know, because usually the answer is as long as a piece of string. How long is a piece of string?
Right.
So it could be this long or it could be that long. Typically, depending on how desperate you are, you're going to work a lot quicker. You might say, I need it by Friday. Here's the date, it's Tuesday, but I really need it by Friday. That's only 3 days away. We have turned the deal around from beginning to end in 1 day. We have, and that's unusual. Because we got to go through certain steps.
But everybody's working.
Yeah, everybody's
Both
working.
sides, huh?
Yeah, both sides is working. So
That wasn't someone you had already.
no, we're talking about fresh. We're talking about no, we're talking about
Wow.
fresh. We're talking about fresh.
Wow.
Brand spanking new.
Good.
1 day. You know, and it was like they're on fire. They're on fire. They gotta have it. Boom, 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 boom. So we got it. 1 day we talked. We got it today, and we put the money in the account tomorrow. So, but that's not normal. So, to answer your question, on a normal basis, week and a half. Because it's going to take time, because I'm going to say to you, Ms. Thompson, that you need to give me A, B, C, D, and E. And I'm going to wait on you to give me A, B, C, D, and E. You might take a day, 2, 3, 4 days to give me that. Or if you turn it around tomorrow and give it to me, oh, we moving. Because we want to say, and that's the other thing, too, I want to say, which is so important, and we're getting ready to close out.
Okay.
Which is so critically important to us, is that we want to put this money in your hands quickly. Not like the banks. The banks ain't thinking about it the way we're thinking about it. Because the only revenue stream that we have is the money that we're going to get back from these invoices. So that's how we make our money. So we're not going to try to say no. We're trying to say yes. We're trying to say yes. We're trying to say. So we want to hurry up and give you, the quicker we can give you this money, the quicker we're going to get paid. So we're going to be pushing you. Please take this money. Can you please hurry up so we can get this money to you? Please? Please hurry up. That's us. That's our motto, please. Banks ain't saying that. They ain't saying that.
That's good. That's a good service. I like that niche that y'all put together, the way you put it together.
And I thank y'all very much, and I think you want to close us out.
Yep. This is another office hours session, and this is Andrew, and we are signing up. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you Raymond Tates, and thank Southstar Capital as well, and see you next time.
All righty. Good. All that was